What are we waiting for?
We scoping the place out, man. We ain't gonna just run up in there. That's how you get shot.
Sailor again, you are. Wow. Ooh. Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely
You
not.
don't know nothing about no war.
Everybody knows war. Ooh. Yeah. What it is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Good God, you are.
It ain't you all, it's y'all.
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 Man, you sound like a karate movie. Y'all.
Y'all.
Say it from right here with some soul. Y'all.
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 Let me show your goofy ass how to do this.
God, y'all.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Come on, come on.
It ain't nothing but a heartbreak.
Nikki, it's Wednesday night. What's up? Welcome to Rush Hour. What's
Oh,
up?
it's Rush Hour. I think we should call it Madness Hour right now, actually.
Madness.
Because,
So, what's up?
again, we're trying to podcast and the Knicks are on at the same time.
Yeah, we're already down 10, so I'm not feeling confident right now.
What is going on? Like, this happened to me Monday night, and because I was on Rush, and yeah, you know, it's all right. I didn't really. We lost, so it was not great.
Yeah, you missed the whole game.
We are here, you guys. It is another Wednesday night. It is like episode 15, 16 of Rush Hour. We are so happy that you are here with us. So last week we had quite the panel. We went NFC East, and you guys, tonight we're bringing you the AFC East. And I have to tell you, we put together one hell of a panel for you guys. So we're going to go through the whole division. We're going to see how they felt about their draft for their individual teams. Now we got Aaron Rodgers in the division, so there's a lot to get into. We're going to bring everybody in one by one because it's a big crew tonight. So let's start with my very, very, very good friend who I've worked with for a couple years now, loves to give me a hard time, Commissioner Cooper. Please join us. I have done his show a few times, and I'm still mad that I lost last time. I'm still mad.
I'm not behind those controls. I'm sorry. You know, I always put that on Nick, so my apologies on that.
Well,
I do agree, though. You should have won.
Nick is an Eagles fan, so I don't think that it was fair.
In. Okay.
The fix was in, but I haven't done that show in a minute. But I love it because you get to argue, so it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on. It's almost like, you know, I brought you over to my parents' place, and now I'm here at your parents' place. I'm here to meet your parents and stuff. Danny, nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Loving to be here in the studio. Fired up to talk about America's team, the Miami Dolphins. Listen, I'm going to one little shout out to our little co-host before we get things started.
Yeah.
Dolphins versus Jets, 58-56. I got to look down because I can't remember. 56-1 against the Bills, 62-56-1, and against the Pats, the great old Pats, 60-55. So the last time I checked, you got to come to America's team to win the AFC East. We're going to see you soon, so I'm excited.
All right. See, we already brought the fire. If you have Commish on your show, the fire's come, and vice versa. He knows when he invites me on, it's a wrap.
100%.
Yes. So thank you for coming on. Let's bring on my other friend who loves to give me a hard time, who think that the Jets are winning the Super Bowl. Kenny, come on in here. Kenny, the
hey guys.
What's up, Kenny?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. You must be jacked up.
And I would say this for the record: the Jets will win the Super Bowl this year. They will sweep the Miami Dolphins. They will lose like 0-2. They'll be 0-2 against the Patriots because we cannot figure out Bill Belichick for some strange reason. And we got the other team in the division. So
the other teams. Those other teams.
But the Buffalo Bills, which we are gonna lose the division too. I admit that. Because Buffalo is too good.
Oh, you're too kind, Kenny.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
Buffalo is way too good.
Great segue. Let's bring in Peter from the Built in Buffalo podcast. Peter, what is up? How are you?
I'm doing good, and I'm representing the team that has won the AFC East 2020, 2021, 2022. So I think you guys might have to go through us if you guys win a division. No,
That's
but
true.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
That's true, but you don't like we know that you don't like the heat. At least we know that, right?
Oh, 100%. I don't know if you would want to play in 100 and I think it's
Hell no.
2-degree weather. I
I don't
wouldn't.
like
so.
sitting in it. I don't like sitting watching the game in
But
it. So
no, I agree. But yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
No, thanks for
Well, at least
joining
at least the Bills are having a new stadium in a couple of years. That's gonna be awesome.
2026. Yeah, new stadium. I'm excited for that. Orchard Park. It's a nice stadium, but it's kind of time for a new renovation,
man. Yeah,
I wanted to go visit one game, and but now I'm new stadium.
You got a couple years.
That's true. I gotta get off my butt.
You do, yeah.
Well, listen, we're in the swamps here at MetLife, and we don't want to hear about your nice new stadiums because our stadium, is just redone.
Air conditioning unit.
It's not great. It's really
yeah, it's terrible. The exterior of MetLife is terrible, actually. To be honest with you,
it's really bad. Although I do think I'm just going to go to Miami for the game this year. But let's bring it, guys. So we tag teamed you for the Patriots. So let's bring them in. We got Fitzy, we got Murph. Bring them in. Let's go. What's up, guys? How are you?
Hello. How are you? And congratulations on all of you showing up tonight for the race to second place.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought in the bottom last.
There you go. That's right. Deal with this. That's right. There's 7 of us, and I got 8 rings. I got a crisp German beer I'm going to open up because we're taking on the Colts November 12th. It's not Brady versus Manning. I'd honestly say Mac Jones versus freaking Gardner Minshew is a far cry from that. I think honestly war reparations to Germany for starting that shit 80-something years ago.
God.
We're all going to have to suffer through it. And speaking of suffering through it, my God, these introductions. America's team. Jesus, Commissioner Cooper. Did you hit your head as often as Tua did last season?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, America's team is the Hartford Whalers. Okay.
Thank you.
Two America's team is. Yeah.
Thank you. Hashtag Murph misses the whale.
Right. I really missed the whale. And my mother, the fabulous sports babe who built NBC, who built ESPN radio, coined that phrase 25 years ago. Shout out to Ma down there in Florida living on the houseboat. And it's really cute when you guys start talking about, AFC titles in 2022, 2023, we use AFC titles as paperweights around here.
Yeah.
So, let's just move on into 2023 and see what we got going.
I have so many
lottery picks as paperweights. So
yeah. I have so many AFC East Championship T-shirts. There's not even enough dog beds in my house to line them in. They're like an afterthought. Listen,
who led them though? Was it Brady or Belichick?
Right, both. It was the greatest. It was the greatest combination of all time. Like Brady and Belichick is a great combination.
I don't know about that.
Just like Jets fans and sadness make for a great combination.
Oh, that's cold, man. That's cold.
Take down the blue screen, and go genuflect to when was the last time you guys won anything? Joe Namath. You got a Joe Namath poster in there behind you somewhere.
Hey, Murph, hold on 1 second.
Probably, I have a Joe Namath poster.
Let me have a sip of
ayahuasca. Don't forget.
It's a new year though.
Yep.
All right,
it's a new year.
You said to me last year, you called me crazy for saying the Giants would win 9 games. And he's like, well, the Jets are going to win like 11, 12 games. And I'm like,
they almost did. They almost did though.
Oh.
Until like the last few weeks of the season.
Jets winning the Super Bowl. But you know what, Danny, the best part about this show is I'm not involved in any arguments this time.
You're going to find your way, mosey on in somehow.
Sit back.
You have plenty of ammo on all of them.
I know. I just wanted to. Yeah. 18
except for the Dolphins.
Choke. 18 and choke. Yeah. Sorry.
18 and choke.
Choking on the.
See, that took 9 minutes. Congratulations.
I wanted to let them.
It's better to have loved. It's better to have loved and lost than to have paid Daniel Jones $105 million.
Wow, that's low, bro. That was a real
Are you
low
talking about what? Honestly, what works harder on the New York Giants, Brian Daboll or Daniel Jones's friggin' chin strap? Have you ever seen? That guy is all mandible.
Yeah. I gotta pay more attention to his chin strap next year.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm paying attention to his chin strap.
I would say a Kenny Galladay joke, but he's not on the team anymore.
Yeah,
Mm.
we're done with
Nikki's
that.
favorite
Thank you.
player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all done with that. But I'm glad you guys got to hop in here and yell
Thank
at each
you.
other. That was fun. I appreciate that open. That was great.
times.
So before we get into the in-division fighting, which we have already done, let's talk about some of the games and schedule changes that are already out. I first want to say to the NFL, F you. How dare you put Giants Eagles on Christmas Day? Like, is that not savage? I mean, here's the thing. We usually go to my sister's, right, for Christmas, and her whole family, her husband and kids, they're all Eagles fans. Like, I can't
Oh, rest in
be
peace,
around
Nikki.
that. Yeah.
I don't have
Oh
that.
boy.
I'm not gonna
That's
have
fun
that.
though.
Stay
That's
home.
fun. Like it's
Oh,
memories
that's
you're
not
building
fun.
on
We invite
Christmas.
you.
Like
Come.
that's
Yeah,
great.
come see how fun it is.
Love
Yeah,
it.
come.
Love it.
That's it. From midnight, from standing there shoulder to shoulder at midnight mass with a bunch of people who haven't gone to church all year to having to go spend Christmas Day with Eagles fans. No,
Yeah.
man, it's like getting sent straight to hell right out of church.
Yeah, let's go from watching
my
the game
God.
and hearing EAGLES
Oh,
Eagles
God.
to let's go open some PRESENTS presents.
Yeah,
Oh my!
it's gonna be a
This is
rough one.
it's the first
I'll-
time I've ever felt bad for a Giants fan. Wow.
Right?
It happens.
Yeah.
No, and thankfully I'm a Giants season ticket holder, so thankfully it's a road game, so I don't have to suffer through that. My wife already told me you're not going to that game. I'm like, it's in Philly, don't worry. She's
Yeah,
like,
no.
okay. Don't
Oh
worry.
God, no, that's even worse.
Yeah,
No, I would
It's
never
Philly.
subject myself.
Will Santa Claus get booed on Christmas Day? Tune in.
Of course.
Yeah,
100,
100
yes.
proof.
Of
There's
course he
absolutely
is. He's gonna
crap
get
bet on that.
pelted.
Yeah, he's gonna get 100%. Of course he'll get booed. So I'm not looking forward to that. That was pretty savage. But since you guys are on, you got Jets Dolphins on Black Friday. What do you guys think in general?
Perfect
of the Black
time.
Friday game?
Perfect.
Well, I'm not shopping. I'm good. I'm all my stuff's online.
Oh,
We're
I'm good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no
I
problem.
don't have to go out. I don't have to go out buy gifts. Like John's gonna chill on Black Friday, do like online shopping, and yeah, I'm happy
Leftover
about that.
Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah,
my
I mean,
favorite
I-
meal of the
for
year.
Thanksgiving, all that stuff.
It's perfect. I'm gonna win with some presents. I'm gonna get a W with America's team. I mean, it's a perfect combination.
No,
of Black
no,
Friday.
nope.
I just can't wait
I
for
don't
it,
think
quite
so.
honestly.
I don't think so.
So-
Not with
The
that
Jets
defense we
must wear
have.
their black jerseys.
The one
for
thing
that
I will
They-
say though about the NFL schedule,
Yes.
it is complete BS that they put the Dolphins and Chiefs in freaking Germany. That makes no sense to me. You got one of the better NFL matchups, quite frankly, and you're putting it over in Germany. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't count against a home game against the Dolphins, but even for Chiefs fans, I mean, you're robbing them of a good clash between two AFC, potential playoff teams. So, to me, it's just I think that's the biggest, dumbest thing I should say as far as the NFL schedule.
But if you're going to export the product, though, and one of the two exports in Frankfurt is going to be the Mac Jones and his Chad Pennington impersonation against insert name of Colts quarterback here, then you best probably export the showcase, like the centerpiece of the NFL, like Patrick Mahomes. And the Dolphins are fun to watch. Like there are a few things I love more, like the sun rising at 7 a.m., a cold beer, and watching the Dolphins lose. Like what a treat for everybody over there.
Brilliant.
Indeed.
It's going to be a great game. No, honestly, it will be. And you guys heard that crowd last year when Tampa Bay played Seattle, like 90,000 people in Munich. It was just absolutely wild. And having gone to one game across the pond, I went in 2012. The game, the Pats absolutely whipped ass on the Rams. It was 45-7. And it was the most fun I've had watching a Patriots game that did not involve playoffs or the Super Bowl. I highly recommend everybody do it if you get a chance. It's so much fun. The spirit and the joy and like the entire idea of like football with an F and a U and the chanting and the songs and everything.
It's great.
It's amazing. Oh, it's awesome. And everyone outside
defeated in those games. Nikki, we got to go to one of them.
Yeah,
It's
no,
great.
I think it's so cool, right? And then when the camera pans to the crowd, everybody's got a different jersey from every different era. Like it's just really, really cool. I'm happy they're expanding the product, right? I mean, good for them. But I do get it with the matchup, right? I do understand that. But we've got a lot of crazy things going on the schedule. So teams can play twice now on Thursday night. What do we think about that?
Yeah.
You like that? Is that going to screw up?
I
scheduling
can't
here?
I love
stand
it.
it.
Yeah, it's not a
Murph,
bad
you don't
idea.
like it?
No, I don't. I don't like it. I don't like Thursday night games at all. We sit there and we preach about the health and well-being of our players, and
It's the
then we
funniest thing.
schedule then we schedule these Thursday night games. If they did it smartly, okay, and scheduled these games coming off a bye and basically expend, I
Yeah.
could deal with it. But I'm not going to sit here and listen to Roger Goodell talk about how happy he is to make sure that, you know, this whatever device they've strapped on somebody in preseason or during camp to measure concussions and this, that, and the, it's awful. It's awful. They care nothing about the health and well-being. There's
Are you
the
talking
game
about
is,
the Super Mario helmets that they
yeah,
wear, the
Super
Guardian
Mario
helmets?
helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The
and
mushroom.
it's just it's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie, and I don't know why the public puts up with it. It's been the game is almost being oversaturated now, where you get these terrible matchups on Thursday nights by
Yeah.
teams that are completely broken down and haven't had 2 days worth of rest to get ready for the next contest. It's robbing us as fans, and it's robbing them of their health and well-being. I can't stand it.
I agree. I've
Mm,
always
I
talked
agree.
about like having like if you have a Thursday game, right? If your two teams are playing, those two teams should be coming off a bye, right? Those
Right.
two teams
Right.
should have played
Mhm.
on the previous Monday
Yep.
or Sunday. They should have that bye for that week, and then they play the following Thursday. So like you play on Sunday, week 5, bye week 6,
Yep.
Thursday night, week 7. You get a better product, and
That's it.
and a lot of the Thursday games we've seen so far are usually teams that like I'm not saying we don't care about because everyone cares about the NFL team, but a lot of the matchups just aren't
Right.
great. They aren't enticing. And sometimes like, look, if we get an average team and a really good team, look, we'll go watch it because usually the really good team has a great quarterback. We'll go watch it. But if we get two, I guess, below average teams, they usually don't have good quarterbacks, which make them below average teams. And it's just not an enticing product. Look, the NFL still makes money off of it. They still do great. They still kick, everyone's butt in the ratings on Thursday
Yep.
night. They're not going to change it, right? Like
Right.
they're not going to change it unless the ratings drop, which they haven't.
Nah.
But I agree. You should come off a bye, play Thursday, and then
But
you just kind of defeat.
But
the
here's the bad news. The bad news is, dude, that the NFL does not give a
No,
rhymes
no,
with
it's
Schmidt.
ratings.
They do not. Like,
No,
first
they
of
don't.
all, if Roger Goodell is talking, if his lips are moving, he's lying. Two, they are all treated like disposable cogs. They are pieces. They are
Yep.
elements.
They're
They
equipment.
are pawns. They're cogs. They are gladiators. And they almost like that's why they keep fighting for more guaranteed money because there's like this complicit agreement
Right.
between them that they know that they're like, I know all these guys have some level. If they're going to play any football beyond even high school level, let alone college, you're going to have some degree of CTE. You're going to have some degenerative condition. You'll have arthritis. Something will break down or multiple things will, but they agree to it. That's the dance they do. When they take the paycheck, they get the fame, the glory. They become influenced. They become celebrities. They get all the money in the spotlight. And that's the sad part of it is that the NFL just does not care. And also as far as the games go, like for the football savage, hungry population of the United States, and like it's the rest of the world's most popular game is the other football, right? In America,
Right.
we like the crazy football that doesn't really involve your feet, but involves people just absolutely crushing each other. It's like soccer times UFC, or it's like extreme. It's like rugby on 5 Red Bulls, and we all can't get enough of it. And the NFL is just going to keep feeding you that drug. They're going to keep finding new delivery methods, like
The
Friday
18-game
Amazon
schedule
Prime,
is coming.
18 games, Amazon Prime, Thursday
I
night.
hated
The games,
the 18 game.
the
Actually,
games suck, but
Yeah,
didn't
I
want the
hated
extra one. No,
But-
didn't want
so-
the extra one.
You guys have said all the right things, but as a fantasy guy, I just want to throw this
Yeah, I
in
was gonna
there.
say.
Yeah,
I
I
hate
was gonna
Thursday
go there
night
with the
games
fantasy
just for
angle.
fantasy. I hate it. I don't want to
I hate
start
it.
anyone on Thursday. Who wants
Right.
to start anyone on Thursday
No,
night?
no.
Guys,
I
look at
hate
the
it.
reason
Yeah.
all weekend if that's it. So
especially if it's Russell Wilson,
yeah.
who I
Well,
think screwed
we've all-
everyone on this panel last season in some way, shape, or form.
and one
No,
league or
not
another,
me.
absolutely.
Not me. I know we're going to get into fantasy a little bit
Yeah.
later. I am a founding member of FA, Fantasy Anonymous. I was at one time up to 52 teams in one season.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow, really?
I am
thought
now
10 teams
I
was
am
nice.
now out. I am out. It's been
Yeah,
2
I'd be
years.
anonymous,
I cut it back and cut it back. And last year was the second season that I had 0 teams.
ooh.
And I can't
Wow.
get dragged back in. Was it Thor Nystrom asked me into his league last year, and I had to tell Thor that no, I can't do it because I can't start this again. I can't drive my wife and family and kids to their graves before I go. So, yeah, fantasy, I'm out on.
Do you miss it though?
Murph, and I like
I
fantasy
Do
football.
every single day, man. I miss it. I really do. I stay away from the stats and the spreadsheets and everything else, but no, I miss it every day. Like you know, a smoker misses his nicotine first thing in the morning.
Maybe we should start a fantasy anonymous.
Yeah, but-
I have.
meetings and a
I
group.
have.
It's like
every
bring
Wednesday
bad
night.
beat- yeah, we're like bad beats, weekly bad beats with
Yeah.
like fantasy anonymous.
Yeah.
You hear like whenever there's a mobile gambling advertisement when it's
Right.
like Fan Kings or Draft Duel, and I'm not going
Right.
to name check either because they're
Mhm.
not paying for this. When you hear an ad from one of those guys, the disclaimer at the end is as long as the ad. Like
Right.
help is here. If you know someone who's having trouble gambling, call 1-800-YOU-SUCK or blah 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 blah.
You
Like,
know,
and there's all
I
that
find
legal
that
speak.
ridiculous.
The same
But,
should
I
be
mean,
the same should be
yeah.
done for alcohol ads in this country, or
Right.
watching football or violent programming or
Exactly.
whatever else. That's just as bad for you. A and B at the same time, Murph. I gotta say, I as someone who's done fantasy for 25 years, I'm almost now enjoying placing a couple of stupid $5 same game parlays more
And-
every
and
Sunday.
I don't have any other problems.
Anyone
I
else?
don't have a
Yeah.
gambling problem. I don't, I can throw $5 down and lose it on the Celtics, or $100 down on UConn when they bring it home. And but with fantasy, I could not say no.
Yeah,
Somebody
I
would
got
ask
that
me to
problem
join a
too.
lead, and I could not say no.
Obviously, you were in
yeah.
52.
52
52, man.
teams.
Yeah,
man.
that's
And that
I
was
know
Literally a
Murph.
team for every week of the year. Holy smokes!
Yeah,
guys.
like that's way too much. I hate in fantasy when like I have to, let's say I have Jalen Hurts, right? So like I need him to have a good day, but if he's
Mhm.
playing against the Giants, like I hate that whole element to it. Peter, talk to me about the Monday Night Football flex schedule. What are you thinking about that? You guys like that? So it's well, I've seen varying reports. You guys confirm it's between week 12 or 14 to week 17. Games will be allowed to be flexed into Monday night. Now they have to give 12 days notice in advance. So that would be Tuesday prior before they do
that's
that.
basically the Sunday night rule too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So do you like
Good.
that?
Yeah, 100%, right? I think we've seen, and we saw this last year, Russell Wilson, like we saw the Broncos just be on primetime Monday Night Football multiple times. And look, first time it was good because we new product. Second time we were like, okay, you know what? Maybe they're not that bad. Third or fourth time and fifth time we were like, okay, they're really bad and we got to stop watching them. So look, towards the end of the season, they do the same thing with Sunday Night Football. You want to see the best matchups, and we do not know the best matchups at this moment. Like we can talk about for the rest of the night of the show. Like, look, we know Bills Chiefs could be a good game. Bills Bengals, this could be a great game. Like those games could be great, but there's could be some teams that perform better than we expect, like the Jaguars last year, and there's could be some teams that perform worse than we expect, like the Broncos last year, that are matched up in a primetime game. So of course you want to move them out because we want to see the best games on by themselves or standalone on a Monday night, Sunday night. So I agree. I think it's a great idea. I think they should have done this probably when they started doing Sunday Night Football flex. I don't know why this wasn't always a thing.
Yeah. And it's now Sunday
I agree.
afternoons. You're basically, Kenny, what about Sunday afternoons? It's like free agent frenzy over there. So it's like any given game on, can appear on any network now. Now CBS, still carry AFC, and Fox will still carry NFC. They have a minimum, requirement there. But, I think what we're going to see is both networks kind of balance it out a little bit.
I'm never shy, whether I'm making my own videos or I'm on the radio or whatever, of being the lone inhabitant of unpopular Take Island. And
Give it to us.
I'll play the part of Tom Hanks. I don't even need a Wilson. I'll sit out there and I'll eat a bad take all day. And the NFL has chosen chaos with their scheduling, and I, for one, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I want as many variables thrown into the algorithm. If this is chat NFL and we're now like living in a metaverse of variables and genius and algorithms and addiction and violence, I want all of it because maybe this is the jaded opinion. Murph, you set me straight if you think I'm off kilter here, but maybe this is the jaded opinion of a masshole who grew up suffering and then, rode the wave of a dynasty for 20 years. And now basically as a football fan, I feel like the rest of my time on this great green ball is house money. So, for anyone else like Giants fans, you've seen a bunch in their day. Dolphins fans, you guys root for a team with a fish on the side of their helmet. The Buffalo fans, your time is coming. Hopefully, maybe you may have also missed it. Who knows?
Oh, whoa.
Who knows? Sorry. I know.
Yeah.
Listen,
Uh-oh.
hey,
All right, well,
hey, a little piece of advice, Peter, in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe, your quarterback should do his cheating on the field, not off the field.
oh,
Boo.
shots fired.
That's a
Well,
I-
but to your point, they
We're
did
having fun.
Yes,
We're
we're
just
having a
having-
lot
yeah.
of fun.
But am I right?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, we
we
are.
yeah.
don't mind cursing on this show, so you guys don't really need to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Fantastic.
you can let it fly.
okay.
All
All right.
This audience
Um,
is used
I
to
think
it. But
I think this idea is fucking ridiculous. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Once again, it's the NFL not thinking about the fans, not thinking about guys that have booked travel and booked hotel rooms and things of that nature. Have you any of you had to pay for a babysitter lately? Okay. No.
I'm 22, so no.
Okay. All right.
Actually, yeah.
Good job, Pete.
Well,
Peter still has to
my
ask the
kids,
babysitter if he can have.
it's an extra $100 for the night. That
Oh,
you
I'll
just
take that
blew
money.
out.
I'll
Yeah,
babysit if you want to send me that
That's
money.
good money, though. That is good money.
Murph, don't
It
you
is
just
good
like
money.
leave a 2-liter of Coke and a steak in the living room with the kids and say we'll be home at midnight? It'd be
I'll
fine.
be home at midnight. Well, yeah, I've got to throw a side of beef for Butchie because he's 6'3" and weighs 220, so I got to take care of him that way. But no, I don't like the flex schedule. I wrote a column a few years ago about it, and this was my consensus. Once again, it's not fair to the fans to ask them to uproot what they were already doing. It's really not that difficult to get a Monday night schedule that's a good schedule put together. Everybody gets their one turn, their one bite at the apple. You go after division rivals, or you go after historical rivals like the Patriots and the Colts. Those are the teams that you schedule for these games. Mucking around with this is it's just being shitty. Okay, it's like if you invite me into your home and you ask me if I want a sandwich and I say yes, and you bring me a hot dog. Okay, a hot dog isn't a sandwich. You're a prick. Okay, go make me a sandwich. All right,
some people think it's a sandwich.
I'll make it with the hell I want. It's my house.
Yeah,
not a
Commish,
sandwich.
talk to me
Well,
about the
then ask me
chaos.
if I want a hot dog.
Talk to me about the chaos in terms of fantasy, Commish, because it is chaotic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, fantasy wise, I mean, it is what it. I mean, they're gonna play the lineup so that week, so I mean, it's not a big implication there. I like what Fitz said though, as far as like the whole metaverse, as far as you're talking about the television coverage and all that.
Yeah.
I kind of took away that whole John Madden, Pat Summerall feel when, like, you got behind people. I love Doug Johnson, for example. He was on CBS for a while, and then all of a sudden Fox grabbed him and he disappeared into college. And I never hear him anymore. And I love his calls. Like he's very exciting, but I don't ever hear him anymore. So I'm hoping, they start mixing up a little bit as far as the TV coverage and all that's concerned. But I do like that. But I think what Murph said is right on point as far as, I know me and my wife were on a stadium tour. We like to go to different, like I wanted to go to Kansas City. That's basically why I was complaining about the Germany game. I was so excited about that. I was so excited about going to Kansas City this year. And then I'm like, oh my God, like we can't even, now it's in Germany. I don't want to go, I'd rather go to Kansas City and experience that there.
Yeah.
So just like, as not that that's the same thing, but when you're sitting here making those plans, I know how that is. You're making hotel reservations, you're doing all this stuff. Now all of a sudden, like, it's moved to a different day and your whole plans are all different. That's a lot of money invested. Now you're going to pay even more to adjust them. So
it's not like 1970.
At this point.
Right. It's not like 1975 when, and Fitzio maybe remember this, when it was a home game. We had Sunday dinner at my house in Connecticut because it was outside the frickin' blackout area. No, you weren't there.
I was.
But the blackout days when you didn't fill the stadium, and now it's just like, just toss it up because we don't know what's going to happen. But I do agree with Fitzy. Everything now is gravy. In 2000, I would have died a happy man if I got one Super Bowl ring, and the Patriots have given us 6. So everything else is just gravy on top of those potatoes. And you like Doug Johnson because he's from Gainesville. Okay, that's why you like Doug Johnson. He went to Florida. Just admit it, Commission.
I'm a Miami guy, so quite, I think he's just exciting on the call. Quite frankly.
He does a good call.
All right, well, let's move on to the draft. I know it feels like it was 20 years ago, but it was only 2 weeks ago, right? So let's just kind of go through who your guys' teams picked first. I want to get your thoughts, your feelings on it, and if there's anybody that's sticking out to you. Kenny, you've been quiet, so let's go to the Jets first. We can let everybody beat up on the Jets here. Aaron Rodgers aside, we'll get to him in a little bit when we do way too early, way too bold predictions. So you guys went and got Will McDonald, edge rusher out of Iowa State. So Kenny, you see a lot of outlets are saying he's a big bust potential, right? Because the knock on him, he's a little older.
Look at
His
Fitzy.
production is a little inconsistent. So is he going to prove everybody wrong? What did you think? Were you shocked by this pick? You like it? Talk to us.
Well, first of all, I'm still, reeling over last year's draft where we got the best draft class of all time. So I wasn't really worried. It was impressive. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Brees Hall, et cetera. But
A++.
I do love Alexander. I think he's gonna bring a lot of oomph into the defense. I have no idea why these, critics criticize him because I see size, I see speed. He can play the edge rusher, which we desperately need. He's gonna be a terror in the defense, and in all honesty, I wasn't really, I wasn't really worried about this year's draft because, as far as I'm concerned, last year's draft was the best we had, and they're gonna keep growing for years to come. And yeah, I feel really good about Alexander, and he's gonna be another cog in the defensive unit.
The Jets absolutely smoked the draft last year. I think we can all agree that was one of the best drafts.
Totally.
When you get the offensive and
the
defensive
from the year before a lot better than last year.
Exactly. Yeah, I love the last year.
The offensive and defensive rookie of the year in the same draft, legitimately, A++.
School was in last year. Absolutely.
Oh my God, absolutely murdered it. Just there was a chalk outline of the draft, but
that was last year.
Yes, that was last year. This year, so sorry that the Patriots had the 14th pick and Bill Belichick was just like,
screw Belichick, man. Screw that man. No, I hate him.
Hey, Pittsburgh,
As soon as made it out, let's go talk about the Jets draft. I saw Fitzy light up like a kid on Christmas morning. He's like, "Yes, please, let's do this."
Talk about the Jets draft. Talk about it.
What an asshole.
Let's move on to the Bills. So, Peter, you guys go and get Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. I can't remember my mock draft, but I think I actually got this one right. Just another pass catcher for Josh Allen. Mine is friggin' well, right? Let's just keep stacking it up here. So they asked him to do a ton of things in Utah, right? He essentially acted like a wide receiver. Yeah. Do you think Buffalo's gonna do the same thing with him? Because I feel like they are.
Oh, 100%. Look, I think Dalton Kincaid is probably the second best pass catcher in the draft, behind JSN, tight end, wide receiver, no matter what. I think he's the second best pass catcher in this draft. And I agree. Look, Dalton Kincaid struggles, or his draft analysis was he's not a great pass blocker. He's not a great blocker. That's what he needs to work on, which is exactly, look, obviously you want him to be a good blocker, but he's not coming in to be a blocker. He's coming in to be, quote unquote, a big slot receiver, right? He's still listed as a tight end, which helps financially, which helps when he gets out of his 4 years or 5 years in Buffalo, no matter what they do with him. But he's going to come in as a big slot. It's another weapon for the Bills. He's going to play a ton of snaps with Dawson Knox, and they kind of missed a kind of true slot receiver last year, right? They brought back Cole Beasley in the second half of the year. They were that desperate to bring in a slot receiver. So they brought some speed in a Trent Sherfield or Deontay Hardy, but they're not a true pass catching slot receiver. This just gives the Bills another weapon. And just to think about this, in the red zone, you're going to have Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, and Dalton Kincaid. Yeah, that is unreal.
And Damian Harris, who, by the way, gives you guys
the most underrated.
He scored 15 touchdowns 2 years ago and gives you a power back alternative, so Josh Allen doesn't end up getting hit like Drew Bledsoe did 22 years ago.
Yeah, and
as well,
you have James Cook. So James Cook and Damian Harris are both kind of opposite style of runners, which is a perfect fit because
Harris
not one of them are.
2 years ago.
And don't sleep on Khalil. And listen, Khalil Shakir, do not sleep on him. There's a very good chance he may blossom a year early and turn into what you hoped Crowder was, what Cole Beasley used to be a while ago. He's got great moves. He was a steal in the 4th round a year ago. He just needed some time because they just looked at Allen stared down Diggs, Gabe Davis, and then called his own number so often.
And it was also like it's a day 3 pick coming into a new offense. Like how many day 3 picks shine right away in the NFL? It's not that common. But yeah, I think Dalton Kincaid, you got one of the best pass catchers. You got another red zone threat. You got another guy that is kind of more of an underneath. And if you watch the USC game, like I tell people, go back and watch one tape against USC at 16 catches. Like that's an unreal stat line. That's against one of the best teams in the country in college football. I know USC doesn't play a lot of defense, but they're one of the best teams in the country. I think this is another pass catcher. And I just go back to the red zone. You have 4 of those targets in the red zone, minus any running backs and minus Josh Allen's running ability, which makes you a really deadly red zone offense.
All right. I mean, you guys just got to put it together in the postseason. That's all.
Tell me about it.
Got to do that part. So
Before you go, Nikki, thanks
yes.
for watching Rush Hour. We appreciate it. Please like, rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thank you guys for joining us. And take it away, Nick.
Yes, thank you. All right, let's take it away to the cheaters themselves, the Miami Dolphins. You guys gave up.
Cheaters.
They'll remember Deflategate.
Awkward.
Oh, man. Isn't it funny? Tom Brady is always
I'll be happy
involved.
to, yep.
Something about a goat on a boat. There's always Tom Brady at the center of that scandal, Miss Nikki.
Always in good fun. That was for me losing when Nick made me lose on your show. No,
that's fair. I forgot about the Tom Brady thing. I'm like, when did we cheat? I forgot.
That is why I did not have a 1st round pick, but you got Cam Smith in the 2nd round, which I really like this kid. So, yay, nay.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Vic Fangio is here. He's going to have some fun defensive schemes to throw out there. Coming in with I was about to call him Jalen Hurts, Jalen Ramsey. You got Xavier Howard to mold this kid, and he's going to be put in some great situations. So I like this defense to make plays. Obviously, we're bringing it as far as the defensive ends are concerned with Jalen Phillips developing and the addition of Bradley Chubb. So I think the Dolphins defense has definitely made a big step up this year, and I'm excited to see this kid in this scheme and where Vic Fangio sets him up. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, what was it last year or the year before? It was like all of a sudden Miami defense came alive, just went on this roll for like 8 games in a row, and they just didn't stop. So
yeah, that was Brian Flores implementing. It was the previous defense from the previous year, which worked. They played this zero blitz, just constantly blitzing, and it worked. And then they started to do it again, and it started to work again. Eventually, though, you get tired out and you get burned by it. That's the only problem. So when you play good offenses, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, they're going to burn you in the end. So you have to be careful playing that scheme. Thankfully, we're out of that, though. But I will say, fantasy-wise, look for Elijah Higgins, using him with Gesicki gone, using him in that tight end slot. So watch for him to be a sneaky little and at least dynasty play to look out for, because Miami's going to slide him in. He's got a nice little play for you.
I like that. A lot of Tua talk in the chat. We're going to come back to Tua. And
let's talk about Tua.
Well, first let's go to the Pats and Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon. You guys really filled a need here, right? Got one of the best corners in the draft, and I feel like what a steal at 17, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Fit.
No, go ahead. You take it, dog.
I love it. I thought it was the pick of the 1st round. I couldn't believe that he had dropped to 17.
Yeah.
I was telling Nikki we have to try to trade up and get him. Me and Nikki the whole time. I was like, we got to do it now.
No way he should have dropped to 17.
No,
that's crazy.
There isn't, and Bill's got to thank his buddy out there. God, Fitzy, who's the guy in
Well, Adrian Clem was the offensive line coach last year, and now he's working with the Pats, so he had systemic familiarity.
Why
with him.
am I at a complete loss for the
Chip
name?
Kelly.
But for who was running him down? Who's running Gonzalez down on the radio show for like weeks and weeks out there in Vegas?
I'm not really sure who you're.
All right,
he was an absolute steal. He was an absolute steal, Murph. And don't you think it was a very risky gambit? And this is what happens a lot of times with Belichick and the Patriots. And Belichick also, I won't say he's been stripped of his drafting powers, rather, they've sort of been divested a little bit to Elliot Wolf and Matt Groh, Al Groh's son, who, if you have him and Bill Belichick read the same passage from the same book, it'll sound the exact same. Like
same way.
They have a draft room and a front office full of robots that all sound like Belichick.
No, but Bro was doing
play-
his post-game presser, and I was listening to it. I wasn't watching it, and I thought it was Bill. I actually thought it was Bill.
yeah.
But no, it was deal of the first round. This kid is the lockdown corner that Bill has been aching for the past 2 years. Now, how they're going to use him is how they're going to use. They've used, like Stephon Gilmore and others in the past to lock down somebody's number 2 guy. Allow the guys that they picked up last year to focus on the number 1 guy, bracket them, and what. Are we going to get to the second round, or should I just bring it up now?
You can bring it up now. Yeah,
Okay,
no, we're only going to do
what
three.
they did.
Let's go. Let's get into rounds 2 through 7. I mean, I could.
We're not doing all that.
Yeah, no. But like Gonzalez was a great pick, Murph. Keon White, that guy, 6'5", 285 with resting Belichick face, an absolute tree trunk of a human who, if he goes south, Kenny, may turn into Vernon Golston 2.0. But if he actually pans out, could be
we don't mention that. I don't mention that name.
Could turn into like a DeMarcus Lawrence. Like he is an absolute unit. This man is a specimen. It's like, what if Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy could rush the passer? He is a monster.
He is. He's just a gamma-induced nightmare. Bill is building a. He really did not like the offensive weapons in this draft. He not at all, and I wasn't enamored with them either. But what he's doing is he's building a bully of a defense. And you build from strength. This is what Bill does. He builds from strength and takes in. What he's able to do is counter whatever you're doing. And right now, with the past 2 drafts, maybe even 3 drafts, he's building this bully of a defense that's going to shut everybody else down and allow him to win games 26-20.
The competence on the offense has to get returned because they were so dysfunctional last year with Matt Patricia's reverse engineered offense and playbook. And so the biggest move they made in the offseason by far, fuck Joe Judge. But he's going to be helping out on special teams.
Right.
He's the worst. No one here. That's the one thing we can all agree on. But improving the special teams is massive. Bill O'Brien was the biggest addition that they could make. And for now, when you have Miami high flying with Tua and Waddle, and when you've got the Jets with all the great receivers, and you never know what Donnie Darkness is going to be capable of, and Buffalo and all the red zone threats that Peter was telling us about earlier, the one thing you have to be able to do is have a counter puncher. Right. Like they're all going to come out with a flurry in the first round. You have to be able to weather the storm in the corner and then push back. And that's the hallmark of Bill Belichick football.
And
so
what Bill did in round 3 and grabbing Mapo is phenomenal. We've all talked about how they need to get more athletic in the middle. I think this kid is going to be the surprise of this draft for the Patriots and the Patriots fans. The jerseys are going to fly out of one Patriots place with this kid's name
way
on the
too
back
early, way too bold prediction. I like it. We didn't even get there yet. I like it. Well, we got a lot of quarterback questions in the chat. So let's go back to Tua. Everybody wants to know, Kamish, is Tua going to take that step forward? What does he need to do? Is this his year? And do you like him for fantasy?
I love him for fantasy, and I love him this season. Quite luckily, I am also a certified brain injury specialist, believe it or not. And so last year, I thought it funny how, well, there's 2 things that are funny. How this woke society now is all like, oh, look at the way the Dolphins handled the Tua situation. If we were 10 years ago, everyone would be like, Tua's such a warrior. He got back in the game and, in fact, won the game against Buffalo.
But
so
get
back in there, to the injury itself, and what happened to him. People don't understand that the brain is exactly like a bone or a ligament. It takes time to heal. The fact was he had a brain injury against Buffalo. They did not allow him the time to heal, then bring his bat into Cincinnati, where, again, I was a little fed up with him because he ran out of the pocket and ran back into the damn pocket to get hit. But anyway.
That was his problem last year.
Right. So he took the hit wrong, got it the same situation back in the occipital area. So that, of course, it affects your vision, affects everything. And you saw what happened to him. So now he's had time to heal. Tua this year is going to be fine. The kid's great. He's smart and he's good for, he's just a good person. So I think this season for sure is going to be Tua's year. I have zero doubts about Tua, and you definitely got to love him for fantasy for sure.
Yeah.
So, Kamish, so hypothetically speaking, we all have to talk about, because we all saw him last year. If something, God forbid, happens to him again, where are you guys going to? Mike White or the quarterback that was in the Bills game?
All right. Well, it's Mike White.
Go to Skylar Thompson.
But right, so let's two things to talk about here.
Go to him.
Let's go around the room and ask everyone else if their starting quarterback goes out, how they're going to fucking do this year. They're going to do
great.
That's Zach Wilson. So
Bailey's happy. Guys, Bailey's happy is the grocery store version of Mac Jones. He's fine.
Right? We can
Zach
have that
Wilson,
conversation.
man. He's going to learn for Aaron Rodgers.
We can have that conversation with every team in the league.
No, you're right.
So now, but let's take now for me personally, I love Skylar Thompson. I was saying it all off, like his kid's got the juice. No offense to my boy here, but listen, if fucking Jalen Waddle makes a couple of catches, you're losing that game against us.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
We should have beaten you with Skylar. And think about that. That kid went into Buffalo. That is no bullshit to go in there and play in the playoffs and almost pull it out, not for nothing. So anyway, I have all the faith in the world in this team. Look at all the speed we have. So I'm excited for once that we actually might do something.
And the coach is a good coach too. I like.
Yeah, you have to love Mike McDaniel. I mean, he just seems like a fun guy. Period.
Yeah.
He's a good coach. I like him.
Really?
You don't have to like Mike McDaniel.
No, why?
No.
Nice guy.
Everybody, they've made book on Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel does not give me shivers in any way, shape, or form. And I just want to say, I don't want to see that kid fencing on a field ever again.
Sure.
For those of you out there who don't know what it is, that's when Tua's hands started to contort. That's called fencing, and it's really scary. I wish this kid nothing but the best for the rest of his life.
Honestly, Murph, I talked to an old high school friend as a concussion specialist in Boston. She shall remain nameless, so will her place of employment. But I was told ages ago, after the first one, her whole idea is they should be shut down for months to recover from a single concussion.
Agreed.
After a second one, you should be out for a mandatory amount of time. 3, you're done. Like he should be forced to sit out. Like it's like the brain. You mentioned that you call it a bone earlier, Kamish. Like it's also like a living organ that can repair itself to a degree, but it's also going to take on the weight of the impact. And those bruises take a long time to heal, and there will always be some sort of trauma that can. We still don't even know that much about that much about it. Like, I personally think it's very risky to go into the season with a guy like Tua as the starter. Now they paid Mike White 2 for $8. It's a steal for somebody who can be a serviceable and gutsy backup. I can understand why they flirted with Brady multiple times, and Stephen Ross was so enamored of bringing the pride of his alma mater into South Beach. They just weren't able to do it, and it cost them a first-round pick. Look, Tua can play, and he's just like he's left-handed Mac Jones in a lot of ways. Like they're as good as the weapons and the talent that surround him, and he has elite weaponry around him now that they need to take advantage of. But if that poor kid gets hit again and gets his bell rung, we're all going to feel like we have proverbial blood on our hands.
Are we Because Wayne Corbett, Al Toon, we didn't have no blood in our hands then, did we? Though that's the point.
And we didn't have the knowledge then,
right?
We have the knowledge now. We know what.
We still don't look back now and go, "Oh,
sure, I do."
Little Wayne Corbett. We don't hear that. We want to talk about now. It's like, oh my goodness, everything's crazy. You know what I mean? Again, like you just said, just like I said, it's just like a bone or a ligament. It needs time to heal.
You're justifying.
He needed to have time to heal, period. And that's what happened last year. This year, he'll be fine. He's had the time to heal. He'll be fine to go into the season.
Yeah, but my PC.
I have one question.
Go ahead, Kenny.
So I have one question. So If Tua is out with a concussion again, should he retire? Because this will be his third concussion.
Good question.
Well,
It'll be his
I
fourth.
mean,
Fourth.
you wouldn't have
Fourth,
to ask
fourth.
me. You'd have to ask the professionals that examine him and what he would have to make. So
Right.
honestly,
Because to be
Hello?
honest, I think he should retire if he gets another concussion.
I'm
that's
Dr. Nick. He's fine. It's okay. Play football to her.
Dr. Nick.
is that what I said? No, definitely
No.
not what I said.
No,
I know you
just-
guys are quick
he
to be
wasn't
like,
pointing-
I just have him retire. Because you guys, like I said, it's big woke society. When you guys tell me go to class, go to neurology classes, and let me know when you find out about the brain injuries and all that. Because quite frankly, the bottom line is the brain needs time to heal. He's
Right.
had the time to heal, the necessary time to heal it. So he is okay to play this season. No one's
Okay.
sitting here saying, "Oh, go play."
I mean, but what if he gets another concussion though? I mean,
Well,
he has
and I
flirted
think
with
that-
retirement in the
No,
past.
the bottom line though is if he does, it's up to him, his doctors, and
Yeah,
what
right.
he
It's-
wants
it-
to do.
Very good point. And but at the same time,
Very
like
good point there,
honestly, I don't think a bunch of people at a Tim McGraw concert choosing not to drink Bud Light per se has anything to do with chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Like it's a proven degenerative condition that is hastened by repeated trauma. And if he agrees to, if he got his 5th-year option picked up, that's fine and dandy. He wants to play, that's his decision. But we as fans and spectators, I mean, it's not like we're going to tune the games away because I said earlier, there is no methadone for football. We're all complete addicts to this sport and what it does for us and the pleasure centers that it tickles during the week, let alone the high we go on every Sunday, occasional Saturdays, rarely on Thursdays, some Mondays
Now
as well.
Fridays.
Now Fridays.
Now it's gonna be Friday because it's Black Friday.
All these
And
times,
so- and
I'm just
that's
going to
the
feel
point.
bad if he's hurt long term.
That's the point.
Right.
We enable it. Sometimes the league comes off as hypocritical, and we get all that. But in the interest of time, I do need to move on to the Bills. So, Peter, what can Josh Allen do better for this season, other than win in the postseason when he needs to? But
I would say if we're strictly like just talking about the entire season, I would say 2 things. I would say I think, and this is the first year that it kind of came up to be a problem. I would say his red zone turnovers. Like he's always been a very good red zone quarterback. I think this year his red zone efficiency was kind of a problem, and obviously you want to be good in the red zone. It's also kind of started happening second half of the year after the Jets game where he had the UCL injury and he played through a UCL.
We won,
injury.
by the way. We won.
You did. I give you that, but he did play through. He did have a UCL injury through the second half of the year, which is a serious injury when you're a quarterback.
Yes,
and he
I
played through
agree.
it. I give him credit, and he wasn't the same quarterback, but
He threw 70
Yeah.
yards on the final play, too.
he did. So
Yeah.
he's a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all know
Yeah.
that he's a top 3, top 4 quarterback in the NFL, wherever you want to rank him. It doesn't matter to me. But I would say the red zone efficiency. I think Dalton Kincaid immediately helps that.
okay,
And then I would just say the turnovers. I would just say
yeah,
he doesn't have to do everything himself. I think the Bills improved their O-line a ton. They drafted Osiris Torrance in the second round. They brought in Connor McGovern from the Cowboys, who's one of the best pass blockers in the NFL last year, according to PFF. So I think they improved their O-line. They brought in Damian Harris. They brought in Dalton Kincaid. So they improved the offense. They added, I forgot the exact number. I think it might have changed when I put this tweet out, but going into post the offseason draft and free agency, they added around 11 offensive players and around only 4 defensive players. So they invested a ton into the offense. So I think it's maybe less of him just trying to do everything, kind of letting the defense let the defense take.
I think that's a
whatever the
good
defense gives you, you take.
yeah.
Don't force it. Be smart. But look,
It's the
he
hero
has the
ball.
best
He
arm in
needs to
Yes.
get the hero
He
ball
plays a lot of
mentality
hero
out of his.
I agree.
Out of
I
his,
agree.
his-
And look, I live with it, right? Like,
Yep.
Watching Josh, you live with it, right? He reminds me of Brett Favre, right? Like a lot of teams would take Josh Allen, and you got to go with it, right? There's only like 2 or 3 teams max in the NFL that wouldn't take Josh Allen right now. It's the Chiefs with Mahomes. It's probably Burrow, maybe Hurts, but you can argue Burrow and Hurts. You can argue that. The only quarterback you cannot physically or like argue is the Mahomes argument. So look, you take it. It's better than what we've had before, but I think he needs to calm down with the hero ball. I agree. Take what the defense gives to you, but look, you live with the lumps of Josh Allen because doesn't get much better than Josh
Right.
Allen. So
What do you think of the Dayball situation and losing Dayball? I thought last year. I'm sorry, Nikki. I don't mean to jump in here and ask
Go
a
ahead.
question.
No, it's a
Go
good
ahead.
question. I was going to ask it.
Yeah. What do you think of the Dayball loss? And see, this over the years is what separated the Patriots from everybody else, was the fact that there was a next man up in the coaching staff
Yeah.
until last year, and it's really difficult to reload there. Are you confident in the offensive staff that you have now that Dayball is kicking ass and taking names in New Jersey?
Yes.
look, I wouldn't say I was
He's
as
so good.
confident
He is.
as I
He's
was.
just so good.
So good.
so
He's
good.
so smart. He's so intuitive.
good. Look, Brian Daboll's great, and look, you bring in a first-time offensive coordinator. That is a first-time offensive coordinator has never won the Super Bowl. Like that just doesn't happen. And I
Right.
think Ken Dorsey's did a lot of great things last year. It was a weird thing. Like you look at the Rams game last year, Packers game, Titans game, Steelers game. We were kicking the crap out of teams with that offense. They kind of went away with that around the time that Josh Allen got injured. I'm not saying that's the reason, but I think the Bills is kind of. I believe in Ken Dorsey. I think it's year 2 in the system. I think
Does Allen respect him?
Yes, I agree. Allen
Okay.
was. I think Allen was an advocate for Ken Dorsey. Look, I'm not
Okay.
saying I have a source that say he was, but I'm pretty sure he was. And I think when you're that level of a quarterback, you probably ask him like your opinion on who the offensive coordinator is going to be. Like I think that's what kind of happens. I think Ken Dorsey's second year as a coordinator is going to be a good growing pain for him. I think he's going to be much better than he was last year. He did a lot of great things last year, but I think he kind of went away. There was too many deep shots. There's too many deep calls. He needs to go back to more of the intermediate passing, run the ball. I think he kind of has to become a little simpler. I think he has to make it a little simpler, which is not a hard thing to do. He doesn't have to make it more complicated. I think he has to make it a little simpler, but it's year 2 in the system. Look, Brian Daboll's awesome, but there's also a reason Brian Daboll's a head coach now. Like,
Yep.
there's a reason he got a head coach. You know what? The Chargers should have hired him when they interviewed him the year before.
Oh, no doubt.
They should have
no
hired him.
doubt.
I thought we
Not
were
even
going to lose
close.
him.
Oh, well,
But not.
sad.
Thank
So
you.
sad.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
We got an extra year of Brian Daboll, which we didn't probably expect. I don't think anybody expected. The Chargers go back. They get Brian Daboll. They might be a little different right now. They might be as good as the Chiefs right now if they had Brian Daboll.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
he refined his mechanics.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
took the risk aversion away from him.
Right.
He had him actually read his progressions.
Yeah.
He turned him into a better version for a while of Elway at his peak, which
Yeah.
is the guy that he
Yeah.
most reminds me of with the
Mhm.
size and the way he's able to run and the absolute
Yeah.
cannon for an arm. And last year he relied more on talent than the instinct and the intelligence that
I agree.
Dayball worked with him on. So that's what I think will have been key for him this offseason.
I have-
Going back to the fundamentals, like closing your eyes and remembering the discipline that Brian Dayball taught in the dojo, now just implemented through the vision and the playbook of Ken Dorsey.
And then he
I would-
always has that talent. Like he always can come back. Like the play breaks down. He's probably like he can do. He has one of the best arms in the league, one of the best legs in the league. So if the play breaks down, he's one of the best quarterbacks. But I agree. Go back to the simpler things, like I said.
You know what I
So-
think is funny was last year, so covering the Giants for Jersey Sporting News, last year, every single time with Brian Daboll's first season there, I didn't ask this because I'm not an idiot reporter, but everybody asked, like, oh, is Daniel Jones like Josh Allen? And it's like, no.
Josh Allen,
No,
Josh Allen is one of a kind.
No.
He's one of a kind.
Mm.
So is Patrick
He's
Mahomes.
one-on-one.
Like, those are
But,
one of a
they
kind
just
kind of
fish
quarterbacks.
for-
But
yeah.
see, the big thing about Josh Allen is the fact that nobody believes his own press more in the NFL than Josh Allen. No one.
No Burrow.
And that's where you get in. That's where you get into the hero ball stuff. I was not a fan of Josh Allen when he came into the league. Brian Daboll saved his career with the things that Fitzy just brought up a little bit earlier. Hopefully, he sticks with that for the people of Buffalo, and they get some wins and
Yeah.
go to another Super Bowl and lose
They
that.
need it. All right, well,
Yes.
go ahead, Danny. Go ahead.
That's
So,
unlikely, but
is Stephon Diggs gonna kiss and make up with Allen?
Oh my god, that was never a problem. Like that.
Yeah, that's
like,
that's what I
not
thought.
that was
'Cause
that was
I need Diggs in my fantasy.
that
league.
was also like Stephon Diggs being frustrated on the sideline because we were
100%.
losing at home in the divisional playoff game. I want my wide receiver, I want my players to do
Right.
that. I don't want my quarterback doing that because that's what a quarterback's not really quote unquote supposed to
Right.
do. He's frustrated because we're losing in a playoff game at home. I think all of you guys would be frustrated. I think I was
Right.
frustrated. I think the players are frustrated. I don't want him to be like, it's okay, because it's not okay. It was not
Yeah,
okay.
you're also underrating how
on
much
the
the team.
sideline.
Yeah,
I agree. Like he shouldn't have shown. Like you don't do that on the sideline. He's coming back. Like he was never going to the Giants.
No, I wasn't
It was
getting
never
that.
happening.
Yeah, we weren't
We
getting
weren't
that.
saying that. We weren't.
I know.
saying
I agree. No. I know you
Those
weren't.
were
But
that was crazy Twitter fans.
it's Twitter.
Yeah,
But no,
oh,
he's fine.
Twitter
He's
is-
fine.
you would prefer the passion than having the passivity of somebody
Yes.
like Jason Tatum, who's like, hey, we got to move on to Game 6. Like, no,
Yeah.
the great ones are supposed to be pissed off and upset when they lose, when they get showed up, and when they don't perform the way they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And
Matt
I
Pipette.
think we would always like that, and we want to see that will to be
Agreed.
great
Be
and to
real.
compete. But
I
also, the one thing you have to remember, I think any one of us, like, we go through a day, and if we get caught in traffic and the mail doesn't show up and you spill something nice on a shirt, we're all, we're all beside ourselves with tired and frustration.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine having to like hold up the city of Buffalo and the expectations, going through the DeMar Hamlin situation, the grocery store shooting, all the different tragedies and everything.
It was
Like
an unreal
that
year.
team was so tired by the end.
Emotionally
Makes
sense.
Yeah.
tired.
It's not
they
an
were
ex-
cooked.
It's not an ex- not a, they're not going to tell you it's an excuse because it's quote unquote not. But like you go through that DeMar Hamlin, you see a player of your team on your team, one of your best friends potentially, die on the field. He was died on the field. Like that doesn't happen on a random Sunday or a Thursday night. That just doesn't happen. So the Bills went through a ton last year. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but look, I would rather like you said, my player do that. Look, should it be in this locker room where the media doesn't pick up it? Probably. But Diggs, when they're losing in the fourth quarter of the game, is not caring about what we think. He doesn't care about what the media thinks. No, he shouldn't. He does. That's not his job. He's not a media guy. Look, so like I would rather, like I said, I would rather my player do that than you know what? Oh, you know what? We didn't play great. We'll get him next year. No, like that was an important game. It's the divisional round of the playoffs. Like,
All right,
we had a
let's move
chance to go to
on
the AFC Championship.
to Mac Jones real quick before we go to Aaron Rodgers and your waiting.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear this.
Curious, what is the Mac Jones vibe in here?
Do we have a Mac Jones vibe?
I don't know.
There's not really a vibe. Mac Jones is in the words of Bill Belichick, a quarterback that can play in this league.
Yep.
Right? He's somebody that can go out there and read through his progressions, and if he has the time, he can be successful. We saw last year that he's not very adaptable to new schemes, and but dialing back what was tried last year and going back into the encyclopedia Britannica of offense and Bill O'Brien coming in here to run things, I think Mac's going to have a lot smoother season than he did last year and a much better season. We'll see more of what we saw in his rookie year than what we did in year two.
Yeah, listen, no one here is going to tell you anything other than Mac Jones is Kirk Cousins on his best day. Like he is an absolute.
Really?
He is a no. He is a He's a serviceable, perfectly fine NFL quarterback who's never going to be top 10, but also never going to be bottom 6. And he's going to be a product like with Tua, like I mentioned earlier, Kamish. He's going to be a product of the environment, the coaching, and the talent surrounding him. And last season was so dysfunctional. Like it was a bad version of. It was a train wreck of like Kardashians running into the Vanderpumps, the football edition. It was so bad in Foxborough. You had coaches arguing, players didn't know their roles, people getting sat down for getting lippy with the coaches. And now you have somebody, Bill O'Brien, who I freaking love in the Brian Daboll mold of like, looks just like a gym teacher who used to tell me to put down the little Debbies and get to work and lift a weight. He's just an old-fashioned football hardo, Murph. And he's going to come in. And if you can do your job, you get to play more. And they're going to be competent and professional. And so do I expect the Patriots to go back to where they were a few years ago? Hell no. But are they going to be in pretty much every game this year? And will Mac Jones look like, if not a little better than he did in 2021? That I'll put money on.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So baby step forward, little steps forward.
Yeah.
Yes. Dr. Leo Marvin's baby steps.
Okay.
Yes.
Baby steps. All right. How about the big one, Kenny? You guys got Aaron Rodgers. Is that it? Is that all?
1 year wonder.
The darkness.
So we got a quarterback of the future. Obviously, he's 39 years old. He's about to hit 40.
What future?
I'm not finished though. I'm not
You
finished though.
start out your take with that?
I'm not finished though. Yeah.
He's going to go in the
But-
darkness and retire next year. That's what's happening.
he was not my first choice to get. Actually, I rather had Lamar Jackson, even though he re-signed with the Ravens on a big deal. But Aaron Rodgers is a good consolation prize. He got all the weapons that he needs in New York. He got Gary Wilson. He got Alan Lazard. He got all his old buddies back from the Packers.
Yeah, that took him so
Randall
far
Cobb.
in Green Bay.
And he always bitched
Well, he
about
did that.
it,
He
too.
did get close though, even though the Packers even choked.
Yeah. and
No
I don't-
one loses in the divisional round like I'll tell you, Aaron Rodgers,
Right.
tremendous loser, one of the best.
I don't call him discount double choke for nothing. All right.
But that's all going to change in New York, though. I think he has a good.
I
he
just
has
cannot
a,
wait to see
No,
him
wait,
deal
I-
with the media.
the New York media.
I said
This
I
is-
was like, I'm gonna switch. I'm not gonna cover the Giants this year. I want to go cover the Jets because I just have got to see this. Like, I want to be in person for that. No,
Yeah, it's gonna be a circus.
but Kenny, I mean,
But-
you said to me that they're gonna win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, they will.
The
And the
Jets
probably
are-
either
This is going to be bigger than the tire fire that happened down in Texas last year. Okay, that's my prediction. That's my bold prediction for the Jets.
you know it has to happen for you guys to win the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, look at this division that's sitting in front of you. First of all,
so.
But
First
Murph,
of
at
all,
the same, they might be
first
good.
of
I hate
all,
to say
Aaron-
it, they might be good.
No, they're gonna be good.
No,
They're
maybe
gonna
they
win
might be
games.
good. They
They
will. They
better be
will be
good.
good.
Yeah,
It better be good because after all the mayhem we expired last year, like Zach Wilson, Mike White, players getting injured,
Don't forget
we
Chris
going off a
Ford.
cliff. Don't remind me of that Thursday
I
night
love you,
game against
man.
the Jaguars. That game was terrible, man. But overall, I feel
That
like
was the
Aaron
easiest bet
Rodgers.
of the season last year.
So overall, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is gonna elevate this team. The offense is gonna be great. The defense is gonna be usually great as also. But I have one problem with the Jets, and I do not like the hiring of Nathaniel Hackett. I hate it.
Fair. That's fair.
I hate it. There were plenty of offensive coordinators there, but for some reason we chose Hackett because
Well,
his
because of
connection with Aaron
Rodgers.
Rodgers. Yeah, obviously. That's why Aaron Rodgers came to New York because he wants to play with Nathaniel Hackett. But I'm still under the impression that Nathaniel Hackett is a hack. I don't think he obviously don't know how to coach a team because after what we saw in Denver, that was a shit show, honestly. But with Russell Wilson, but I'm not sold at Nathaniel Hackett, and I feel like the offense might suffer because of it. I have that little bit of a worry.
There's a difference between being a coordinator and being a head coach, right?
Right.
You know, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that, we saw that with like Josh McDaniels, like a head coach not working, but offensive coordinator great. So I do think there's a difference there. I don't know if
But
you
I
guys
still don't trust him, though. I still don't trust him.
All right.
He has to prove to me. He has to prove to me that he could run. I mean, I know. Obviously, he ran an offense in Green Bay, but he has to prove he had to do it in New York. That's it.
Let me send him a quick
Green
text.
Bay is Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, get on that,
Kenny
Chris, will
something.
you? Yeah.
Yeah. Hold
Send,
on.
send the text. All right, let's go around the room. You guys give me your prediction winners for this division and how many games your team is going to win. And if you want to throw in a way too early, way too bold prediction, I'm going to wrap it up with my chicken wing survey that I am doing, and then we will get on out of here. Kamish, take it away for the Dolphins.
Well, I am a Dolphins fan, so
7-10.
I know.
Don't put that on your LinkedIn page.
I know disappointment. Trust me when I tell you. So I don't want to sit here and be, because last year I was very confident we were going to be number 2, Bills number 1, and I wasn't sure about the other two, quite frankly. This year I'm a little. I think I'm. Just
I'm pretty
say,
sure Pete wasn't born the last time the Dolphins won the playoff game.
When was that? Seriously, I
The
don't know.
Marino days.
I was born in 2001. So
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm embarrassed.
You don't.
Oh
you
my-
can't even. You can't even have nightmares about wide right, man. What are you
Well,
doing?
Right. You have no idea what losing 4 Super Bowls in a row is all about. Holy
Well, Murph
smokes.
brought
No
up
idea.
the blackout days. I remember listening to games on the radio sometimes when I couldn't see it. So I'm like, man, Peter's probably like, damn, these guys are really.
I'm in college.
Wow, the
So-
Dolphins in the 80s were awesome, though. They were
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Well, they're back to being awesome this year. I think we're going to take the division. I'm not as confident because, like I
figures.
said, as
Lakers.
a Dolphins fan, I'm used to this big buildup and this big ass letdown, and I'm fucking tired of it. And I'm also tired of mediocrity being my ceiling. So I'm hoping this year
There we
we
go.
finally bust through. I'm gonna say 13-4. Bills still coming second. I don't even know. The Jets could be up. They could be last. I'm not even sure. Patriots are always solid because you got Bill Belichick. And like I said, the Jets are an anomaly to me. So that's where I'm at.
All right. I like it. Peter, did you say you're still in college?
Yeah, I'm a senior in college right now.
Oh, where do you go to school?
Providence College in Rhode Island.
All right.
Oh,
nice.
my condolences. No.
Nice.
What
PC's
do you
where
go-
it's at.
What are
It
you going
is.
to school
It is.
for?
I'm a communication media major.
Oh, all
Look
right.
at the
Well, look at
smolder
you
as he
starting
says that,
already and podcasting. Well, good job. All right.
Thank you.
How's the division shaking out?
I would say, look, so I think obviously the Bills won the division last year. They were 13-3. Obviously they didn't play the Bengals game. But look, the division I think got better. I think the Patriots got better. I think the Jets obviously got better with Aaron Rodgers. They added some talent. I think a fully healthy Tua is much better for the Dolphins, but I'm not going to beat on a drum that Tua is going to be healthy for a full 17 games. But I do want him to be healthy because his injury is not an ankle injury. It's a life-threatening potential injury. I still think the Bills have the best quarterback in the division. I think the Bills have one of the best. I think the Bills might have the best roster still in the division over the latter. So I still think the Bills win the division. I think just having usually teams that win the division have the best quarterback. Like that's like you have the best quarterback, you win the division. I think the Bills have the best quarterback. I think they go, I would say 12-5 or 13-4. I think it's going to be tough because I think it's going to be very competitive this division. And I think I looked at some of the road games the Bills have. They play the Bengals, they play the Chiefs, they play the Eagles, and they play the Chargers on the road. Those are not easy road games. So I would say, but if you look at the home slate doesn't really scare me much. It's a really weird schedule where you're like, home slate's it's pretty easy. Obviously the NFL is tough no matter what, but quote unquote. And then the road, you like if you split those 4 games I just announced, if you split those 2 out of 4, you're like, oh, that's pretty good. So I think 12-5, 13-3. I think you have to get to obviously 11 wins to win the division, but I'll say 13-4. I see the Bills win the division at 13-4. I think the Jets come in second. I think the Dolphins come in third, and I think the Pats come in fourth, which is crazy. The Pats coming in fourth, which is hard for me to say because I covered the Pats last fall for ABC6 in Providence. I was an intern, so I went to a lot of Patriots games. I was at the Patriots-Bears game with Zappy, all that stuff. So I was there. Look, I'm going off the talent. I think they have the least talented team in the division. They do have the best coach in the division. They also have the worst quarterback in the division. And so Patriots are a weird team to kind of gauge, but I would say the Bills are in first at 13-4.
All right. Fitz, Murph, how's this division shaking out here?
I'll show you, Murph. Let me just a quick one. I'll just say straight up, I apologize on behalf of the Kraft family, Gillette Stadium, the Patriots organization that you had to intern and watch that absolute tire fire of a season. I enjoyed it. It was a disaster. I'd rather watch my own colonoscopy than any game from last season. It was awful. Now, that said, going into this season, I will be the only one. Maybe Murphy will join me and we can go hand in hand, Thelma and Louise style off the cliff together. Yep. I'll be the only fan of a team here that's going to say my team will not win the division. I will tell you straight up, the New England Patriots will not win the AFC East in 2023, but we are going to be one tough son of a bitch, mother effer of an out each and every game. There, I would say the chances are greater than not that they will make the playoffs as a wild card. I do not believe the Buffalo Bills are going to win the AFC East because I don't believe they've addressed some of the issues, including free agency losses of Tremaine Edmonds, etc. And your safeties, though re-signed, are getting older. I think Buffalo actually will take a slight step back this season. Miami, if Tua stays healthy, they're the biggest wild card. I don't think the Jets are a big wild card. I think the Jets are what I plan to be when I watch the Patriots play the Jets, loaded. So I say the Jets win the AFC East in a stunner. I say the Dolphins finish second, and the Patriots and the Bills finish with the same record, and it's just going to go down to who wins more games in the AFC East.
Right.
Wow. Thunderdome.
It is. It is going to be a knockdown, drag out, steel cage match this season in the AFC East. What's going to happen is whoever ends up sweeping a season series is going to end up winning this thing. And I've got to say, when I look at it on paper, and if he stays healthy, the Miami Dolphins are going to end up winning the AFC East this year. The Patriots, like Fitzy said, are going to be slugging it out for third or fourth place and getting a wild card, hopefully, at the end of this season. But like I said at the outset, in 2000, I would have been happy if they gave me one Super Bowl. I've got six.
Yeah.
Six. So
Yeah.
I
You're not
can
greedy.
be patient. I can be patient and wait. I lived through the 70s. I have no problem going with a 4 or 5 year plan here before everything comes to fruition.
4 or 5 year plan. That's so funny.
I've been on a 20-something year
Yeah.
plan. What do
Yeah,
you want?
right?
That's the thing. We're looking at a group full of people that have for 20 years, 30 years in the Jets case, 40 years
50.
for that next
I
quarter.
haven't seen a Super Bowl in my lifetime.
For the
so.
next quarterback and success. I think the Patriots will be entertaining. I think they will be defensively scary, and offensively are going to surprise a few people because I think Mike Gesicki is going to, catch 8 touchdowns this season.
And listen, I would hate us
Easy
too.
too,
I
yeah.
get it. AFC East, like the Patriots were for 2 decades, the older brother that sat on the head of the younger brother on the sofa and said, "What? You can't get up. Whatever. Too bad."
Yep.
And now the Patriots have fallen off the sofa, and everyone wants to sit on the Patriots' head for a while. I totally get it.
That's exactly
We get it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. All right, Kenny, give us your bold prediction. I mean, you gave it to me already on social media, but are you still going with the Super Bowl?
All right, so for the AFC East, it might shock a lot of people, but I have the Bills winning it. I think the Bills are the best team in the AFC East right now. I have the Jets finishing second. They're gonna have the wild card berth with a record of maybe 10-7. I think that will be the sweet spot for the Jets. The Patriots, they're still gonna be the Patriots because they got Bill Belichick. Eventually, they're gonna finish with a 500 record, maybe 9-8, maybe the same time as last year. Miami Dolphins, they kind of a wild card to me because it's based on if Tua can stay healthy. That's all it is.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love it. Every time you guys talk about that, if Tua stays healthy, again, go
Yeah.
to every team and say that then.
You
Yeah,
could,
but
and you
come
could
on, man.
qualify
Like, you
that
guys
with
have a defense now.
You could do it with every player. Listen, I'm like
Yeah.
so high on Darren Waller this season, and every time I say something, they're like, "Well, Nikki, if he stays healthy, I know you can fucking say it about everybody." All right, I know.
There you
I'm
go.
Thank
tired
you.
of it. If he's
Let's hope
healthy,
he's not the next Kenny Galladay.
but I do get it. No, I do get it with Tua. I do understand that. I'm not
Yeah.
making light of it. I'm just saying that you can qualify that with any player. All right, my informal survey that I have done for years now is, what do you dip your chicken wings in if you eat buffalo wings or chicken wings? Is it ranch, blue cheese, or are you going some other sauce, or are you going plain? Just
I'm going blue cheese, and
Okay.
particular the boathouse. It's that blue cheese you buy in the refrigerator. It's like the good kind. That's the one to go get.
Marie's.
I think it's called Boathouse. That's the blue cheese to get if you want.
Bolt's house. That's good stuff.
that's the
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
You guys going blue cheese? Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm blue cheese. Ranch is trash.
Thank you, Murph.
cheese.
Oh,
Ranch
no. Whoa,
Ranch.
Murph is right.
It is.
Ranch is the mucus of the devil. It's
Right.
terrible.
Correct. It is
Uh,
trash.
I'm a
Actually,
ranch guy, so I would dip it in chicken wings. I love ranch.
Once
Peter?
again, the unpopular guy, I don't put anything on my wings. If a wing is cooked
Yeah.
correctly, you don't
You
need
don't need
ketchup
it.
on a hot dog, and you don't need
Yeah.
sauce on a well-made
And
wing.
you don't need
Never
steak
barbecue?
sauce on a good steak. So,
Definitely not. I don't know
You
about the hot
definitely
dog thing.
All right,
Ranch.
Peter,
Ranch.
are you?
is
What are you?
Zach Wilson of condiments.
Clip that.
I'm
Nick.
putting that on a fucking t-shirt and sending it to you.
Thank you.
Ranch is the Zach Wilson of condiments.
I love that. I
You
will
gotta-
wear
you
come
gotta
on,
clip
man.
that.
out of that.
What a mudda.
Peter, do you eat chicken wings?
Yeah, 100%. I'm a Bills
Okay.
fan. You have to
Hey,
eat chicken
Buffalo.
wings
Yeah.
if you're a Bills. I'm not originally
It's
from
Buffalo,
Buffalo.
man. Come
but-
on.
Yeah,
Hey,
no, blue
listen,
cheese.
some people don't eat.
Blue
You know,
cheese.
I don't know. Perfect.
It's blue cheese. Ranch is
Okay, thank
gross.
you. Everybody,
Like, I don't.
and everybody
Ranch is bad.
agrees.
You don't dip. If somebody asks you, if you go to a restaurant, somebody asks you ranch or blue cheese, that's disrespectful. They should already know it's blue cheese.
Right.
There's no explanation for.
And if they
dipping
just
wings
bring
ranch.
you ranch, you should get up and leave without paying.
Yes, yes. Look, I don't hate ranch. I don't eat
And
ranch.
slap
Really.
the
I don't
lighter on
eat
the
ranch.
Murph.
Blue cheese with wings. But I agree with the Fitz. I think a good way, like I'm a big thing. Like I have one wing with no blue cheese, and then the next wing with blue cheese. I don't know. I change it up sometimes, but blue cheese, no matter what.
A little bit, and we can agree no ranch on pizza, right? That's
Oh, Christ.
Oh, hell no. You leave the pizza alone.
Yeah.
Maybe hot sauce. Once in a while, hot sauce. But that's it.
Nah, not hot sauce.
Little,
Just plain.
I'm a red pepper flake guy.
Ooh, yes,
but,
yes,
but
yes.
other than that, there's
red pepper
not.
flakes.
I don't. If it's not a green pepper or an onion, vegetables do not belong on pizza at all. And
What
if you
about
come,
pineapples?
you kiss my entire Irish ass.
I find that disgusting. Actually.
If you even sit near me with pineapple pizza, the hands are going to be thrown. Because
Irish, he likes potatoes on his pizza.
Nikki, if you're ever up in New England, there's a very popular sports bar and comfort food chain called the 99. They make a chicken tender and a chicken wing called, and Murph will know this, Gold Fever.
Gold Fever.
I got the Gold Fever, and the only prescription. And what they do is basically anyone can make it at home. Gold Fever sauce is just honey mustard and barbecue whisked together. And I'll tell you, as a dip, as a quick little finish, or even just something, it's so. It's like, why did it take us this long to put wheels on a suitcase? Why did it take us this long to figure out honey mustard and barbecue together are?
Why did it take us this long to get to the shipping part? All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much. This has been one hell of a panel. I knew it would be. I had a blast. I hope we can get you guys on again before, the season starts and at the end of the season and do this again and give each other a hard time. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for everybody hanging out with us. We went 1 hour and 20. I know that's a little long for rush hour, like rush hour and a half.
Sorry, my fault.
We will see you. No, I appreciate it. We will see. Well, you guys won't see me next week. I'm not here. You guys get Danny and Spartan next week. But thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. And I will see you guys later.
Deep
Bye.
respect,
Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Go Pats.
Thanks for coming on.
That was fun.